I'm excited.
Why's that?
We have an apparel sponsor, Parry Athletic. Such good gear, and it's incredible. I've been enjoying it.
Bro, George came through, messaged us on the Instagram, said he's been following our program for ages. He's getting stronger and more mobile, and he's got this cool gear company called Parry, and he wants to send us some stuff.
And he told me that his mission was to create the best pair of training shorts ever.
Yeah, he wanted something that he could lift and roll in, and that could accommodate thick, muscular thighs and hips.
And that suits us.
Speaks to us.
Also, what I like is I love the colorful design. It actually looks really cool.
I am the most colorful dude on the mats these days, hands down.
Yeah, you get that kind of expression feel. A lot of other jiu-jitsu gear is kind of a bit boring.
Yeah, it's all like
comparison.
grays and blacks and shit. This stuff is the color and the vibrancy.
It makes you stand out. And I think the thing that I've loved about it is just it feels good. It feels good. It looks good. And you, ladies and gentlemen, can get a discount when you go to checkout. If you go to parryathletics.com, when you go to checkout, put in the code Bulletproof20 and you get 20% off. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like a car race. Now, we were talking metaphors before, and the reason why this came up was there's a lot of rules when it comes to driving, and there's a lot of regulations when it comes to driving. People have insurance, there's speed limits, all this stuff. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu actually doesn't have any of those constraints, rules, guidelines. It's kind of really unregulated, which is an appealing thing for many people because you just can't do it how you want. But that makes it kind of dangerous. So here's the metaphor, my friends. The difference with you driving a car is you are the driver and the car is separate to you. But in jiu-jitsu, your body is the car, and we could use your brain as the driver. And there's a lot of other people out there on the road, and the road is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We're all trying to get somewhere, even though some of us are going on all kinds of side missions and stuff like that. But ultimately, we're all trying to move forward. And so
ducking over to just down here to B team for some nose beers.
Yeah, little side mission off here to
go see my guy to get some tren.
Delhiva town.
That's cool. That's a cool cartoon. Someone should do that.
You can take the back roads.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. But there's no speed limit. People are uninsured. People are going to smash into you. They're going to cut you off. Some people are going to slash your tires.
Sounds like driving in Western Sydney.
It just sounds like Sydney traffic. But here's the thing. People get upset. Oh, that guy's going too fast. It's not fair.
What, you talking about people at jiu-jitsu or people on the road?
Both. I mean, so the other day, there was a guy in a souped up Suzuki Swift.
My God, it's Western Sydney.
The guy was going so fast, man. Like, I was driving roughly the speed limit, like 110 k's an hour. This dude was just left us behind, right? But when he was changing lanes...
Big exhaust.
Yeah, you bet. You could hear him. But he was actually really close to us. And Oliver was like, God, that guy's really close to us. And she was really offended. But I was like, well, it's standard. Like, I drive all the time. So it didn't faze me. But I was like, wow, that guy's going to a quick death maybe. Because he just kept switching lanes. He just disappeared. But I thought to myself, if we were on the Autobahn in Germany...
Probably going to buy a can of Monster.
That's what do you mean? He was just crushing it. Bang, energy drink. Bang, I got it, baby. He was just crushing pre-workout and rubbing it into his eyeballs. In Germany, so I had the experience. The reason why I bring this up is it's all context, right? Wherever you're training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there may be a different culture and therefore the rules are different. So typically your coach or your gym will set the rules about how fast you can drive and who can drive and who can race and what can happen, right? On the Autobahn in Germany, there's places where there is no speed limit. You can't be mad at someone going 300 k's an hour because legally they are allowed, even though you might think it's reckless. And in Germany, they don't give a They will get right up your ass. They'll flash you. They'll honk you. You don't want to be, because compared to us in Australia, they're driving on the other side of the road. In Australia, we overtake on the right-hand lane, like that's like the fast lane.
Yep.
In Germany, it's the left-hand lane. You don't get in that lane unless you're going.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do plus of 200 k's an hour, get the out the way.
Yeah.
That's the lay of the land.
You need to be in the latest Bimmer or Mercedes to make that one work.
I didn't quite understand.
You're rental car from the hostel is not going to make it in the left
lane.
lane.
Cut it. Right. They're going so fast. And
Pretty sick, actually.
it's amazing, right? And I'm actually surprised there's not more accidents. But they actually, I mean, they do get fatalities like anywhere in the world. But I don't know if it's more than anywhere else. I haven't read the stats.
I think it works quite. I mean, the quality of those roads is immaculate too, isn't it?
Yeah, they're smoother, silky smooth. Right. And you've got to travel big distances. We were driving from...
Germans have got some cool shit going on, just saying.
They've got some technology. Yeah, better believe it. But here's the thing. I have heard people, like Oliver's complaining about this guy going too fast. And I'm like, oh, well, his karma is he might just crash and die. So who cares, you know? We're in our lane. We're doing our thing. It doesn't matter. So that's what it is, right?
Yeah, I don't know this guy, but he might crash and die. So everything's okay.
Yeah, who cares? Well, I don't care. Bad things happen to bad people, Joe.
He's on his way to...
You just said he was just crushing monster.
Hey, it doesn't mean he's a bad person. He's just thirsty.
Bad things happen to bad people, Joe. So this is, bear with me, my friends. I have heard people complain about in jiu-jitsu on the mat, oh, that person's going too hard. But when you're rolling, unless the coach has explicitly said, hey, guys, we're going 50% or this is what we're doing, unless they say, you slap hands, you bump knuckles, it's on, which means it's Autobahn time.
Right.
Someone's going to want to do 300 Ks an hour. Yeah. And if you're just pootling along in your shitbox, you're going to get destroyed. The difference is this. That back in the day, there was a game called Road Rash. It was like on Sega. This is like, we're talking way back in the day. And you're like on motorbikes and you could have nunchucks, you could have weapons. And so it's like,
cool.
It's like a road race, but you could also like just like get a nunchuck and whack a dude in the head and make him crash.
Yeah.
You couldn't see if there was a fatality or not, just kind of fade off and you're winning the race, right? Kind of like Mario Kart, except like more violent.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Someone might just come through and just axe you, right? They might just be like, you, I'm going 200 Ks an hour and ram and keep going, right? And if they've got a really strong, fast, resilient car / body and you have a weaker, not as strong, less resilient body, you're going to break. They're not going to break. You're going to hate them and they're just going to keep on going. They're going to Nicky Rod off into the future and you're sidelined, right? So here's the thing. The reason why I want to have this discussion is jiu-jitsu is so unregulated. And as a result, people get upset. But you can't be mad at someone who's driving it very fast if there is no speed limit. They're not breaking the rules, right? And when a coach doesn't necessarily...
The terms of engagement have not been communicated.
Yeah. And so, Joe, have you seen examples of this where there's been like... I guess like a lack of harmony in a gym because maybe someone's going really hard and then others are like not prepared for the smoke?
Yeah, a bunch of times. I mean, ones that come to mind mostly are kind of like often does occur between men and women.
Yep.
And often there'll be a guy that's just like going hard.
Coming for the smash.
And, you know, he might be going hard because he's just rolled me and he's rolled you. And so he's like got to just bring everything he's got. And then he rolls with a 45 kilogram, you know, woman who's whatever in her first 6 months of jiu-jitsu. And he doesn't realize
doesn't moderate.
We're in a different arena now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it happen a lot. Being at gyms where you have people that are like really geared up for competition and they're rolling because it's like competition time. And then you got people that are like just trying to get their training in a couple of times a week and not mindful that, oh, so-and-so's a hungry competitor.
That's a lion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it plays out a lot. Especially if it's not managed by the coach.
Yeah. And I think the difficulty is this. We assume too much. We're like, yeah, but I'm just a beginner. That person doesn't care if you're on your L plates, your P plates. You know, they don't care if you're on your provisional license. They don't care if you're a beginner. You've shown up. You're in the session. You're now rolling. It means the race is on.
We're playing Fast and Furious, and I'm Vin Diesel, bitch.
I'm a stomp a hole in the ground. I'm a catch a car and throw it back at you.
Someone's like, I'm just the flag girl.
I'm just the. Well, I don't know. Some people are the Rock. You know.
You know, Jess Fraser mentioned a really cool So there's a solution for, like, part of the solution for this is just having communication with your training partner before you roll, right?
Yeah.
Just saying like, hey man, I'm taking it real easy at the moment. I got this thing in my knee.
That's going to be a very boring Fast and Furious, Joe. If you've got Vin Diesel in one lane and then you've got my mum in the other lane going, look, Vin, I know you like to drive fast, but I drive 20 Ks under the limit.
Yeah.
I don't want to get fined.
But I want you to stay next to me.
Can we just make... It's not happening. It's not happening.
But I remember Jess mentioning this when she went to a gym in New Zealand.
Okay.
And I can't remember exactly what was said, but she went to roll with a woman there, and the woman said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm rolling reggae tonight. If you're bringing that heavy metal, you can roll with somebody else."
That's awesome.
Yeah, and just like, I got you. Like, I understand.
And then they both pulled out a spliff.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And that's so effective.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, this is where I'm at. If you want to, let's do it. If you don't, you can find someone else that can race you.
Yeah.
You know, and but that exchange, most people don't talk to the person they're about to roll. It's like, oh, you want to go? Okay, yeah, cool. Wait for the timer. Okay. You know, in that moment, you could have just established where you're at, what you're looking for.
Yeah. And I think
I'm looking to go to town tonight. Can I just destroy you?
Sure. I mean, this is not what I came for, but I think it's the difficulty here is if you've got someone who is in a more powerful position, it's hard for you to dictate if you're the person who's not in the stronger position.
Yep.
And you're trying to get some terms and conditions that
power
work for you.
imbalance.
It is difficult. We've talked about it, and we're not going to go too much on that. I believe that you have to be prepared that you are going into, it's not, it goes further than this because it's not even a car race. You know, a lot of people are not racing. They're just getting on the road like, oh, how nice is it to drive, right? But it is a crash derby. People are driving into each other. Like, people are deliberately trying to
dodge them cars.
Yeah, bro. People are trying to smash into you for fun. And you're like, I didn't come here. No, it's contact sport. You're going to cop knocks, right? And, you know, I've heard it's a silly thing because actually netball is the most injured sport above rugby. I didn't know that.
Is it?
Yeah, crazy. Got these stats at a first aid course. That's why you always see a first aider at netball.
It's that sticky
ankle
timber floor.
Yeah.
With long legs wearing sticky athletic, like sticky
Stop,
shoes.
start.
Yeah, those direction changes. Yeah.
Fall. Yeah, I was blown away to find out that netballers get way more injuries than rugby players. Blew my mind. But that's probably because rugby players also do a lot of weight training and netballers do not necessarily, male or female. But anyway.
Do you know, I mean, I actually can't say I don't know. I've never.
No, it was just a statistic. I just thought.
Netballers.
No, I just thought it was very interesting. No,
but you're saying they don't lift? They might lift.
All right. Well, it's not preventing their injuries. Therefore, I believe their lifting is not effective. Just saying. Anyway, we will not get sidetracked on this. You have to be robust enough for someone to smash into you and for you not to break.
Yeah, agreed.
So we were talking about a friend of ours who has bad knee, and we've also talked about how we keep recommending this person strengthen their knee, and they don't. We're like, it seems to be getting worse. You should probably do something about that knee. Yeah, I will, until it's too late, and now you have surgery. And now, once you've had surgery, you have to do rehab, you have to do the weights, you have to rebuild your knee, or you'll never walk properly again. If you want to get in your car and go driving, you got to make sure the car works. You got to make sure it's up for the job. You need insurance. You got to be prepared for what's going to come. You got to be prepared that someone might just run into you. Your insurance policy is kind of how strong you are. It's how robust you are. And that's the thing. You got to be able to build back. If you are not strong and you're like, oh, I don't do gym, then you're coming from a very weak position. So if someone runs into you, it's going to take a long time to repair.
Yeah, I think in addition to the, like, you got to strength train and do all and stretch and all that, you also just have to look after your health generally, don't you? Like, you got to eat well, you got to eat enough, you got to be hydrated, you got to sleep enough. You can't be like loose. But in your life.
Jiu-jitsu attracts loose people, mate.
I love it because it's just, it's like, I just punched a bong and ate a sausage roll and now I'm going to go roll for 6 hours at the open mat. Yeah. It's like you can do that shit when you're in your 20s with it, but there is a point that comes where you really do have to start acting like a responsible human. And I think that,
How dare you, Joe?
our old mate that we're referring to, it's like it's the strength thing, but it's also part of a greater like look after yourself.
Self-care, yeah.
Like be healthy, because if you don't, you will get forced out of the game.
Why does this come up? Like, why did I say this? I literally just paid my annual car insurance.
Right.
And I just changed provider. So I sat and talked with this guy for way too long. Nice enough guy. He's asking me all these questions.
You don't just do that shit online? Why talk to a guy?
No, I did. I filled it. I thought I was saving time. I did 15 minutes online, and then they call you to do the quote because it's a new provider. So they've got to kind of double check everything you said, check you're not lying, check your record, all this stuff, right? And the thing is, when I was in my 20s, I was a reckless driver. I got speeding tickets, license suspended, parking tickets. I was actually driving a modified Honda Civic, so it had like a 2-liter engine when it should have been like 1.4, 1.6.
You had a 2-liter Honda,
bro,
like a Civic.
It went so fast. I could beat pretty much anything off.
What model?
1998.
But like Civic or
Civic.
Prelude, Integra?
No, just that little daddy with too much nose in the front.
Mad hatchback,
bro.
They were good looking little hatchback.
It went fast. It just went so fast. Anyway, this is not a good thing for me. It cost me a lot of money. But all I wanted to say relevant to this is I'm now a very boring driver. The guy was asking me like, how far do you drive on a daily basis? I'm like, 30 Ks, if that. He's like, oh yeah, is it garaged like securely? I'm like, yeah, under the building. He's like, have you had any demerits in the last 3 years? I'm like, actually, no. He's like, perfect record. He started getting like really, he's like, so what do you do? Like, I'm like, oh, bro, just a bit of gym. He's like,
I'm a big time podcaster.
I love gym.
Maybe you've heard about me.
No, it was funny because he was like, because it's funny because.
But wait, here's what I'm surprised by this.
Yeah.
You're such a live wire.
No, but
how is it that you drive?
I live my life in a very boring way.
But how you
so that I can be?
I tell you a story about my friend's friend at breakfast, and you'll get activated, and like 40 minutes later, finish ranting about it. How are you not getting triggered on the road? There's people out there trying to antagonize, cut you off, and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do, but I'm like that kickboxing meme where the guy's walking around like, I could head kick that guy. Yeah. Look at these idiots. I'll teep him in the next week.
Shout out to Teep Muay Thai.
Teep Muay Thai is so good, right?
It's the only Muay Thai account I follow. There you go.
Also, shout out John Wayne Parr. I follow him.
But I just consider him like a celebrity now.
Yeah, he is. He's a legend. But he also does jiu-jitsu. He's a white belt in jiu-jitsu. Right on. Because his son and daughters do jiu-jitsu as well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
it's cool.
He's going to love that. After a lifetime of bashing.
Try and shoot in on him and he just knees you in the face. You're like, oh, Wayne Parr, my God. So, no, here's the thing. The reason why I say this was when I was 20, I was a reckless driver. I didn't crash my car, but I sped, went on an amber light, all these different things which were not the way. I now drive very responsibly because I'm very risk averse. I save my risk and my energy for what I need it for, which is jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't even want to ride a bike because I feel like that's a risk for injury. Whereas someone might be like, oh, lifting 140 kilo stone, that's a risk of injury. I'm like, no, that's a calculated risk I can control. The road is chaos. Jiu-jitsu is chaos. If you're not living conservatively around it, you don't have the bandwidth for risk in it. That's what I'm saying. So I honestly believe that, like, if you aren't doing things to make your life stable and healthy and good, as we kind of talked about, which is all very boring, you can't take the risks in training. You can't risk your knee. Like, I will fight out of the knee bar because I bet my hamstrings against whatever you're doing, because my hamstring's pretty strong, or vice versa. And that is a risk I'm prepared to take. And I think the thing that we're not taught, or it's not explicit, is there's a lot of risk involved in training jiu-jitsu, and it's very chaotic and it's very unregulated. Whereas driving, road rules, laws, cars, this is a thing that we know very well and we accept it. But then we also somehow accept that, it's just jiu-jitsu, like, just got my tooth kicked out. It doesn't matter. It cost me $2,500, but that's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is a very different scenario.
Yeah, I feel it. The that point you made at the beginning was worth re-mentioning, which is that you are like when you're driving a car, your car is separate to you. But your body is like, you're inherently stuck with it.
Yeah.
No matter how much surgeries or whatever you
Can't just write it off and get a new one.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think for a lot of people, they get into jiu-jitsu just not considering, it's just fun and this is fun and I love it. But they're not thinking actually there's a vehicle or a vessel that upkeep is required upon that vessel in order for me to keep having this fun.
Yeah, but in Fast and Furious, Joe, they had like 5 tow trucks and he held down a helicopter. It was awesome. It's like, that's bullshit. That's Nicky Rod on steroids. You cannot
seen
do
Vin
that.
Diesel's biceps? Shit.
It's only because he's 4'5". That's why he looks jacked. No, look, I think the thing is this, you know, we talk about the same things. We do go over the same topics, but for the best part, if you want to go into the fire, if you want to go into the chaos, be prepared. You know, make sure your body's ready, and make sure you've got a little bit of something to back it up. Even if it doesn't mean you're going to win every roll or, you know, be making highlight reels, it just means you can weather the storm if someone tries to make a highlight reel of you. That's what I say. Peace, fam. Be safe out there.